in the beginning to like comprehend that he's got like this huge empire and it's only just like weed. He's like this big bad gangster and he's literally only dealing weed. Like,
yeah, that was strange, but maybe it's different over there. I don't know. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
hi.
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Wow, guys, nice scarves.
What do you mean? We,
Yeah.
we did one for
Bad Boys
Bad Boys.
3. We just got out of Guy Ritchie's The Gentleman,
The Gentleman.
starring Matthew McConaughey,
Charlie Hunnam,
Charlie Hunnam,
Henry Golding, Colin Farrell,
Colin Farrell. Trying to hit me with somebody else now, real quick.
Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone. They were all in it, even Bugsy. I am a really big fan of Guy Ritchie's first movie, Lock, Stock, and Two Barrels. And Snatch is okay. I also like his Sherlock Holmes movies, but I haven't liked the last two things he did, which was Aladdin and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And Aladdin, I'll concede, is not really his fault. That movie wasn't going to be good no matter what. But Man from U.N.C.L.E. was very much his fault.
Is he still married to Madonna?
Madonna's married.
I think Guy Ritchie has potential to be a really entertaining filmmaker, but I think sometimes he gets kind of caught up with himself and he doesn't play to his strengths. And I think, unfortunately, this movie is one of those times. At times, this is a really cool, entertaining movie. And at other times, he's trying really hard to be Quentin Tarantino. You know, when he abandons that, the movie gets much better.
There wasn't any foot scenes in it though, so.
Just think about shoes though. So I mean, close.
It's true. I didn't really know much going into this movie. I had seen the trailer, but I didn't really remember anything from the trailer. This movie was good. I did overall enjoy this movie, but I think the reasons why I enjoyed it is more because of the actors than really anything else.
I'm sure everybody's going to say this at some point in time, but the beginning of the movie felt very slow. The first 30 or 40 minutes, you're sitting there, you're just like, I don't know what's happening, and this is boring. So in the end, it did end up being a movie that I didn't expect it to be like. It was much more of a gangster film, like a British gangster film, than anything that I thought it was going to be like, because originally going into it, I thought it was going to be more like The Kingsman. As it went on, it was not that. It was very much a gangster, drug, turf war kind of movie. That is all very interesting, but you do not start the movie knowing that that's what it's about. Yeah. And it takes you quite a long time to actually get to that.
The biggest mistake he makes in directing this thing is that he buries the lead. The beginning of the movie is very much style over substance. Mm-hmm. It intentionally does not tell you what the plot of the movie is until the plot has already been set into motion. And sometimes that works, but it doesn't here.
Now, it may sound like we're all kind of coming at this from a negative standpoint, but I think we actually all enjoyed the movie. It got much better, whereas I can say the last 30 minutes or so are probably the best of the movie.
Yeah. I liked it. I didn't feel like when I was watching it I had as much of an issue at the beginning as I guess everybody else seemed to. Those are the main points.
The thing is that the beginning is not completely without merit. It is good looking. It moves very fast. The problem is that nothing is happening. I think part of the problem is that the movie approaches you as if everybody in the movie is already a beloved, known character. And I have zero background about any of these characters. Yeah. And by the time the movie is concerned with giving me plot about them, it is too late.
And I think the main reason why it gets so compelling really is because of the actors. Not even the actors that are like fully like directly correlated. Hugh Grant, like, I thought the accent, like, you really wouldn't think that was Hugh Grant. There was a couple moments where like I heard his little posh English accent like sticking through, but I think he really committed to the role. And I think and I'm not a big fan of Charlie Hunnam, but I think he did a really good job in his role as well. And then, go ahead.
And might I add, he was sexy as fuck in this movie.
Charlie Hunnam, I think, kind of really carried the whole fucking thing. It's cool to see McConaughey like this, being a sleazebag. He was the main hitman, Jeremy.
Got it.
To see McConaughey be kind of a sleazeball, but also the hero of the movie because...
Yeah, he was a sleazeball, but you still liked him.
You haven't seen sleazy McConaughey in a while. At least not in something, good, because we saw him in Dark Tower. And I like that. I just think McConaughey is just a really captivating performer, but I think that this is Charlie Hunnam's movie.
And then Colin Farrell was fantastic.
Yeah, he
feel
was.
like
Yeah.
He was so committed to his role, and when you consciously think, you're like, oh my god, that's Colin Farrell, and it's so crazy because I feel like Colin Farrell is on the level of Nick Cage sometimes, where he can be so good in some things, but yet so bad in other things.
Well, sometimes he's a total chameleon, and then sometimes you can tell he just doesn't like...
Like, sometimes he
Yeah.
ends up in Fantastic Beasts, and you're just like,
I was
why
gonna say,
the fuck is
Fantastic
this
Beasts, he was
happening?
so bad.
But that was
Like-
something, I'll maintain, that was not his fault. But the problem with Colin Farrell is a lot of times you can tell he doesn't like what he's reading, and he signed on for the paycheck.
But you could tell that he actually probably enjoyed this character.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him. I enjoyed his lackeys.
It's like all the kids in the movie are really, really
Yeah.
good,
Oh, yeah.
actually.
The authenticity of the youthful British teenage crowd is so spot on.
I enjoy the fact that this movie is not overly Americanized. England or Britain doesn't really get to be themselves when it comes to stuff that comes over here.
Yep.
Because their humor and things are just so different.
Yeah.
And their accents are hard to understand at times, and they've got kind of almost their own language.
Slang is not
right. Their slang
colloquial.
is right. Their slang is so niche that even people from there don't understand it all the time, and it just I appreciated the fact that it didn't overly Americanize the movie
Right.
to make it more understandable. It's just this is what we're doing. You either get it or you don't get it.
And that slang is such a big part of the personality of this movie, is all the little quippy things that they say to each other.
Yeah, I can confirm that a lot of the things they said are common British slang. It felt very, very authentic and real.
And again, even just with the kids, you could tell, because there's not just one gang of kids, there's a lot of kids in this movie. And none of them ever feel like they're acting, in their small parts, but it's not, you don't have anybody hamming it up. You have people very committed to what they're doing, and they're getting on with these really big actors, pretty seamlessly, which I appreciate. Who I don't like is Henry Golding. I've never liked him, and I think he's really bad in this. It's covered up because he's acting alongside people who are better than him. Everybody seems to like the dude. Not even
What
that he's
else has
bad.
he
There's
been
just
in?
nothing special. Crazy Rich Asians.
I was gonna say he was
No,
in
I
Crazy
still haven't
Asians.
seen that.
But I also didn't like him in that movie. I like the movie. I like the movie a lot. But I didn't really care for him there, and I don't really care for him here.
Hugh Grant's character is trying to pitch a movie,
Right.
so I think he's making these kind of these statements about certain people and certain things that aren't necessarily true.
And that's part of not so much the acting, but that what he's given is not great. I'm still waiting for that movie that wows me on Henry Golding. Hugh Grant pitching the movie, I think, is a big issue here, because it's definitely something that feels like a Quentin Tarantino or a Martin Scorsese could pull that off. As the movie went on, we needed to gather momentum, and we couldn't do it because we kept cutting back to these two guys sitting in the same room. I'm going to give this a solid C+. I sound like a broken record because I also gave that to Bad Boys, but this is the same exact reason. This is a fun action movie on a level of a movie that, holds up as, good filmmaking. I don't know if it's there, and I think there's a lot of issues with this script, but that doesn't change that I had a really good time watching it.
I'm gonna give it a B. I liked it. I had a really good time.
I'm also going to give it a B. I think the scenes that were really done well are really done well, and I really enjoyed them. There wasn't really too much that I disliked about it, other than the beginning kind of taking a while. Yeah, I have a little gripes about a couple things, but I do think overall it worked, and the fact that it built into something that ended up being really, really fun to watch.
I actually also think I'm going to give it a B. To me, B just feels like where it deserves to be. There's nothing that's making me say, wow, that was really outstanding, but there's also nothing that's making me say, like, there were things that could have been a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I actually really enjoyed it, and it was humorous, and the acting was good, and I love Matthew McConaughey, and Charlie Hunnam did a great job. It's very middle of the ground. Like, I liked it. I'd see it again. Do I think I'm going to think about it a lot after this? Probably not.
And with that, good night, everybody.
And then